How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with mother effing homebrew, baby. Yeah, a little bit of homebrew. It's been a bit. This comes courtesy of my boy Ryan. That would be Brew. You can go check him out on his YouTube channel. He does a lot of homebrew stuff on his YouTube channel. Super good dude. If you've been watching my reviews since day one, you've met Ryan already. He has done a couple beer reviews back in the day when we're talking, 4 years ago or so. It's been a while since I've done one of his homebrews, and I don't work too far away from where he lives, and I kind of, when I get my hair cut, I kind of pass by him. So he's like, hey man, I got some beers for you. So he dropped off a couple homebrews, so you're going to get a bit of homebrew. Probably start doing a homebrew Wednesday thing. I was doing it for a bit. I didn't get a bunch. So usually when you roll out a bunch of homebrews, then people start sending you homebrews. So hopefully that keeps up. Get a little mystery beer Monday, a little bit of homebrew Wednesday. We'll see what's what. So yeah, let's dive into this sucker. What does this say in this beautiful? I mean, that's a label right there. I mean, come on now. This is Brew Electric Haze Pale Ale, 5.6%. This is also my debut in 4K. I will be purchasing an new iPhone this weekend, and on Friday actually. This is the 11th, and it comes out on not much of a carb. There wasn't a big hiss on this one, so we'll see what's what. But purchased a new iPhone, and I was like, well, should I start like filming stuff in 4K? And then I'm like, okay, well, I also bought a new projector, and I upgraded my whole kind of home theater to kind of fruit flies all over the place. My projector to 4K, so you guys get me in 4K now. We'll see how this goes. I mean, she looks like a super duper hazy. I mean, there's a lot of turbidity in that one. That's definitely like turkey grave level thickness. But I mean, there's really not much as far as carbonation goes. I don't think the cap on this one was done all that well, or it just didn't carb out all that much. We'll see what the actual nose has. I mean, that smells like pineapple juice right there. Jeez. God, huge, big bubblegum pineapple vibes. Smells nice. There's a little bit of soft green with a little bit of soft. I get this sometimes, a little bit of soft plastic, like burnt plastic. That can happen with a little bit of over aggressive hopping with a decent amount of kind of particulate left over, which this kind of looks like it has. But I mean, she is gobs and gobs of pineapple and grapefruit and bubblegum. So she smells like straight up juice. With the lack of carbonation, even comes off more like that. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, she tastes exactly what you would think she would for something this thick and turbid. You are getting a huge amount of hop presence. There's a big dryness from that yeast. I don't necessarily think the yeast is adding dryness as a kind of yeast. Why am I lacking vocabulary right now? Because I'm dumb. As like a yeast note, as something coming from an expressiveness of the yeast. I think it's actually coming from a hefty kind of suspension of yeast in the beer itself. Big kind of hop greenness to it. Pineapple and that citrus kind of follows through. It's okay. It's a little bit too kind of aggressive when it comes to the ingredients involved. It's less beer more than beer ingredients. So not one of the better beers I've had from Ryan, but I dig the attempt at the hazy stuff. The nose is absolutely fantastic. The flavors are there. It just tastes like, you ever put way too much mix in like an iced tea mix? Kind of has this going on, like bottom of the keg kind of thing, and a really kind of particulate laden kind of hazy IPA. So while the flavors are there, has the makings of a good beer. When you take all that heft that you get from this beer, and then you knock out all that carbonation, it kind of makes for a beer that's just kind of a little bit too hefty for what it is, which is 5.6%. I'm all for big impact at that ABV, but I also want it in something that's a bit drinkable, and this comes off a little bit too hefty, a little bit too thick at its ABV, and that lack of carbonation just accentuates that. So there you go. Sorry, Ryan. This one didn't work for me, but we have others we're going to dive into, so we'll see what's what. I'll kind of chalk this one up, because I don't like being a douche, to a lack of carbonation. I think if this was carbonated properly or over-carbed, I think it would come off as a much more expressive, much more drinkable beer. Let's put it that way. So there you go. None of the better this, better that. Is it one of the better? I don't do that with homebrew. Just drink them, talk about them, and then I'm done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. A little homebrew. Like I said, Ryan, he does great videos. He actually makes really good beer. And go check him out over on Brew on the YouTube. Lew. Lou Brew. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this little homebrew jammer. And hopefully you enjoy the upcoming ones. I got four. Count them, Utah, 2 and 2. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.